Not all wild animals hate humans. Most do, and we kind of deserve it.
You have to have that trusting relationship.
But some of them just want to survive and thrive as they do. And frankly, we should be more graceful. From two lions that took an immediate liking to a young girl to a sea lion that wanted to give a suicidal man one more chance, here are 15 wild animals that saved human lives. Number 15. Girl saved by lions. From an early age, we're conditioned to think of lions as a special type of superhuman killing machine, capable of causing a lot of damage to our puny human bodies. But if this story is anything to go by, maybe they're not quite as terrifying as we think. Note, they are. In 2005, a 12-year-old Ethiopian girl was abducted by 4 men while walking home from school. Just a week later, the police managed to track them down as they were about to escape with her. But there was a problem. The abductors happened to come face to face with 3 African lions that promptly chased them off, leaving the girl behind. While this would usually be a pretty tragic ending to the story, the lions really didn't harm the girl at all. They stayed with her through the ordeal, standing guard and protecting her until the police eventually found her. The lions then headed back into the wild, apparently satisfied with their good deed. African media called the incident a miracle of God, and it's definitely worthy of the title. Lions don't usually behave like this, which only makes it more incredible. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Number 14. Sea lion rescue. We never know what's going on in the heads of others, which is why it's so important to check in with people and protect our own mental health. But don't worry, because this is a heartwarming and uplifting story about the power of nature. In 2000, Kevin Hines had reached rock bottom, suffering from bipolar disorder and depression. He felt his life was spiraling out of control. Rather than go on living an unpleasant existence, he decided to just end it all. Soon after, Hines was standing on the Golden Gate Bridge and took that big leap into the unknown. Only, Hines didn't die. Upon landing, Hines painfully shattered 3 vertebrae and realized he had made a mistake. He didn't want to die. Thankfully, a nearby sea lion didn't want him to die either, and kept pushing him up above the water's surface until the Coast Guard eventually arrived to collect him. Hines would later say that this sea lion saved his life. Hines began a program designed to help him deal with his depression, and had since used his story and experiences to inspire others, and urge those struggling with mental health struggles to talk about it. Number 13. Whale saves woman. Marine biologists see a whole lot of stuff out there in the big underwater world, but there's a lot of stuff they don't see, like the megalodon or dolphins playing poker, that kind of thing. And apparently it's near unheard of to see whales protecting humans. While on a research expedition in the Cook Islands, marine biologist Nan Hauser was a little bit confused by what seemed like a very pushy humpback whale. While Hauser assumed that the whale was just curious about what she was doing, she quickly became aware that something was going on. Maybe the whale was angry at her, or perhaps it was just scared. Well, actually it was a whole other thing. Hauser quickly realized that this 50,000-pound animal was not really interested in what she was doing at all. The whale was protecting her from a tiger shark. Underwater solidarity. Hauser has gone on the record to claim that this could be the first recorded case of a humpback whale protecting a human. Even if that's not the case, it's a pretty fantastic story. Number 12. Deer protects woman. Given how often humans hunt them, it seems kind of ridiculous to even suggest that a deer would consider protecting or saving a human life. But we live in a ridiculous world, and that actually did happen. After attending a college party, a Miami student found herself roaming around outside of the condo on her own. Just moments later, a strange man approached, grabbing her purse strap and using it to choke her. But that's when nature decided to take action. Seemingly out of nowhere, a deer jumped up and scared the attacker, who quickly fled into an open field. Chased, by this deer. Considering just how shy deer can be, this is a pretty incredible encounter. Although, again, given how often deer have been chased and killed by human hunters, perhaps it's not so surprising that a deer would want to fight that kind of thing happening to others. It's rare that deer even approach humans in the wild, let alone take a stand to protect them. Clearly, this deer had a strong sense of moral empathy for the poor woman that was suffering, and thank goodness it did. Number 11. Dolphins versus sharks. If you ever have the misfortune of getting attacked by sharks, chances are you're not going to make it out of there. Sorry about that. But there's always hope, and this story is full of hope. If you do get attacked by sharks, pray for dolphins. In 2016, Todd Endress was attacked by a great white shark while surfing in California, and while the shark's first bite only landed on his surfboard, the predator quickly corrected his mistake and attacked again, this time landing some good bites on his body. But when the shark went in for a third attack, nature staged an intervention. As Todd desperately tried to fight the shark off, a pod of dolphins arrived to help out, surrounding and protecting him from any further attacks as he began swimming back to shore. Thanks to these dolphins, Todd was able to make it back to shore alive. Like most surfers, Todd's experience likely did nothing to dampen his love of surfing. In fact, most likely, he just went right back out there and did it again. But this just goes to show the power of nature, and also shows that you really want dolphins on your side. Number 10. Man saved by bear. More than any other animal, it seems we're continually hearing about humans that were mauled killed by wild bears. But here, we're telling a different story. The bear is actually the hero in our story. Didn't see that one coming, eh? Oh, right. The title. In 2012, Robert Biggs decided he'd make the most of the beautiful California sun and head out on a hike. But this hike was unlike any other he'd ever taken. Some way along the trail, he came across a mother bear and her family and just took a moment to appreciate the sight. But as he went to leave, something jumped on him from behind, knocking him to the ground. It was a mountain lion. Biggs's impulse was to hit the lion with his rock pick, but what truly saved his life had nothing to do with his tools. The bear grabbed the lion by the neck, prompting a fight between the animals that ultimately saved Biggs's life. Like most wilderness men, Biggs refused to go to the doctor and instead just poured some stuff on his wounded arm to disinfect it. Still, at least he had a great story to tell. Number 9. Gorilla Mama saves boy. While we're not going to rehash any years-old debates,
sees the gorillas, the crowd yell.
Everybody remembers the story of Harambe, the 17-year-old gorilla who was shot and killed when a 4-year-old fell into the gorilla pit at the Cincinnati Zoo. But few people know about a similar 1996 incident, albeit one with a much happier ending. In 1996, a 3-year-old boy accidentally fell into the gorilla enclosure of Chicago's Brookfield Zoo. The almost 20-feet fall to the ground knocked the boy unconscious, distressing his mother and causing a whole lot of trouble for everybody. But thankfully, one female gorilla took matters into her own hands. With her infant on her back, the mother gorilla quickly checked that the boy was okay. Seeing that he was still breathing, she decided to sit beside him and guard him from the other gorillas until zoo officials were able to get down there and bring him up safely. The maternal instinct is strong in gorillas, who have often been recorded taking care of other animals' cubs. Without her protection, this boy may well have been seriously injured by the other gorillas, making this a little miracle. Number 8. Pig saves owner. Yes, a pig. The laziest of all the animals. Okay, that's not strictly true.
Lulu would return to the house to check on Joe.
But generally speaking, how many pigs have you ever heard of that saved people's lives? Exactly! They're not well known for being big life-saving animals. While on vacation in Pennsylvania, Joanne Altsman suffered a pretty brutal heart attack. Thankfully, she wasn't alone. She had a housebroken Vietnamese pot-bellied pig named Lulu with her. None of that was a typo, by the way. There really are housebroken pigs, apparently. Lulu took a look at Joanne and, after a moment of heartbreaking crying, took action. This pig pushed open the gate to get to the nearby road, where she would wait for an oncoming car, walk into the road, and lay down before the approaching vehicle. If the vehicle didn't stop, Lulu would go back in to check on Joanne before trying again. Eventually, she got someone to stop, and after bringing the motorist to Joanne, Lassie style, he called the paramedics, and Joanne's life was saved. Stories like this are pretty common with dogs, but I don't think anybody has ever heard of a pig saving someone's life in this way. Lulu was clearly a special and very empathetic pig. And now I feel terrible for implying pigs were lazy. Shame on me. Number 7. The tsunami elephant. Elephants have a well-earned reputation as one of the wisest and generally kindest animals out in the animal kingdom. And this is a pretty good example. When you're in the middle of a natural disaster, it's always good to have a wise animal with you. In 2004, 8-year-old Amber Owen and her family were enjoying a pleasant holiday in Phuket, Thailand. Then, everything got very scary. One morning, Amber and her family made a visit to Ning Nong, a popular elephant that Amber also got the chance to ride. But something was strange. Seemingly out of nowhere, Ning Nong fled with Amber on her back. Her family were terrified, but then it all made sense. A major tsunami struck almost immediately, meaning the elephant felt it was coming and hurried away before the waves came. For days, the survivors did not see one another until Amber was eventually located in an elephant camp nearby. While it was undoubtedly a terrifying experience for all involved, Ning Nong's quick thinking may actually have saved the young girl's life. Soon after the incident, Ning Nong was moved to an elephant camp, where she is apparently very beloved. Number 6. Tiger versus leopard. It's the ultimate fight of the predators. Tiger versus leopard. With a little bit of lion thrown in there for good measure. But we're going to make this really interesting and mention that the whole reason the leopard and tiger were fighting, a human life. Eduardo Cirio made a pretty grave error while he was cuddling up to some cute little white lions, breaking the most important rule of being around big cats. Don't ever turn your back to them. Behind him, a leopard can be seen sprinting in his direction, preparing to attack. And it would have, were it not for one ultra-fast tiger that just about managed to prevent the bloodbath before it happened. Cirio even takes a moment to thank the tiger for saving his life. Although it's entirely possible that the tiger just felt like fighting something. Who knows? What we can be sure of is that Cirio will never turn his back on a big cat again. These are opportunistic predators, and will leap at any opportunity to cause some harm. Don't ever turn your back on them. Number 5. Beluga whale saves diver. Considering just how huge whales are, it's surprising that they're generally so peaceful and kind towards us humans, especially when we're in danger or out of our depth, which, again, is pretty often. We're not the smartest creatures on the planet, right? In 2009, diver Yang Yun signed up for a free diving competition at the Polar Bear Land Aquarium in Harbin, China. The prize in question was the opportunity to train whales at the facility. No doubt a big get for anybody that has a passing interest in marine wildlife. But things quickly spun out of control when the freezing water gave Yun a cramp in her leg, leaving her unable to swim to safety. As she began panicking in the water, one of the 2 beluga whales in the tank, Mila, noticed her distress and quickly came to the rescue.
He moved towards her and helped her to the surface.
Grabbing the diver's leg in her mouth, Mila forcefully propelled Yun to the surface, saving her life in the process. There have been many recorded incidents of whales saving human lives out in the open, but for one to do it in a captive environment like this is truly rare. It truly shows the intelligence and empathy that this animal holds. Number 4. Elephant rescues human. I doubt there are many, if any, humans in the world that don't like elephants. They're incredible, graceful, and very resourceful animals, and they seem to really enjoy the presence and company of humans. The good ones, I mean. Not the hunters. At the Elephant Nature Park in Thailand, a young elephant named Kam La formed a deep and loving bond with a staffer named Derek. Having come from a life of misery and abuse, Kam La finally found herself in a loving and respectful home, one that cared for her well-being. And Derek was a big part of making that happen. That bond can be seen in this clip. as Kamla leaps into action when she believes Derek is drowning or in danger while in the water. As Derek is carried along by the current, Kamla rushes over, wrapping her trunk around his arm and helping him reach the shore safely. She's the kind of friend we all wish we had. It's clear that Kamla would do anything for her friend, and those at the Elephant Nature Park have described how she will drop everything if he calls her name. This is probably one of the clearest examples of what a bit of kindness towards an animal can do. Number 3. Pit bull saves its owner. Pit bulls are not really known for their gentle and kind temperaments, but that's definitely not something that should be said about the entire breed. In fact, here's one situation in which the pit bull's unpredictability turned out to be a real blessing. In 2018, a Brooklyn woman's day took a turn for the worse when she dared to answer the door in her own home. On her doorstep, an unfamiliar man punched her in the face for no apparent reason whatsoever. Luckily, the woman's dog, a 5-month-old pit bull, broke out of his cage and began sprinting towards the guy. As any of us would, the assailant quickly went running, leaving police to somehow get on his trail. The story soon went viral, with the owner praising her protective pup for scaring the guy off before he could inflict more harm upon her, and potentially her grandson. This is a scary situation that could easily have been far worse. As it is, the woman was bruised and shaken, but there was no long-term damage. Were it not for her dog, who knows where this could have ended. Number 2. The bomb-sniffing dog. When it comes to saving lives, there may be no animal more valuable than the bomb-sniffing dog. These animals are trained so well and so intensely that they're able to sniff out a potentially dangerous situation from a distance. It almost seems pointless to single out one of these dogs when all of them do so much important and crucial work in our modern, dangerous world. But Trio exemplifies everything that makes these animals so great. Trio worked with the UK military over 5 years and proved himself a worthy asset to the team when he sniffed out 2 hidden bombs in Helmand province, possibly saving many lives in the process.
We'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Trio on his tremendous achievement.
His work was considered to be so impressive and so important that he was granted the Dickon Medal Award, the British animal equivalent to the United States Medal of Honor. He probably didn't know what it was, but boy did he deserve it. Most dogs will live their lives without having a job or a career, but those that make a life for themselves in the military deserve not just a chest rub and reminders that they're a good boy, but our respect. For all we know, they may have saved our lives. Number 1. Bear in the woods. From a very young age, kids are told all manner of stories about friendly bears and singing bears and bears that wear clothes. So it's really no surprise at all that children don't understand the dangers of bears. They even have teddy bears, which are the most dangerous of all. When 3-year-old Cassie Hathaway wandered into the woods near a relative's house, his parents were distraught. Their beautiful child had vanished into thin air without so much as a goodbye or a reason for his disappearance. The incident became such a big deal that the media attention prompted a manhunt across North Carolina, resulting in hundreds of searchers exploring every acre of land from one side of the state to the other. 3 days after his initial disappearance, a neighbor found Casey in the woods, tangled up in a bush. When his mom asked where he'd been, Casey claimed a bear was looking after him while he was lost. Now, this could be the product of a young child's imagination, but we've seen time and time again that sometimes animals behave very differently than we'd expect. So maybe we'll just never know the truth behind Casey's disappearance. What do you think? Did a bear protect this boy? Which of these human-saving animals surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Which of these human-saving animals surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time.